of them. Okay, so how are you, everybody? More or less okay? More or less. Is it easy to listen to these teachings? Yes? Not meant to be easy. You're supposed to say no. So it's not really that easy because, as I said, it really shows us how much responsibility we have. Yeah? You don't hear me? Okay. Now? Okay. So it's really not so easy because our views that we have from the, as I'm saying, Judeo-Christian tradition are like, it's always, this punishment and reward, we really bring it into the karma teachings as well. I mean, if you're not like this, then rejoice and be happy, but most of the people are. So that's that's one thing that is very, very difficult to drop or to get rid of. Okay, there is one person coming in. You can go out and ask him, tell him if he wants to come in. He's welcome to come in. It's one of the other groups. Don't laugh. He's curious. Let's see, go and tell him if he wants to come in. He can come in. Don't tell him to get lost. But this is a private meeting.
I don't think you appreciate all the...
Huh?
I don't think you appreciate all the statues.
That's okay. He might not come in, huh? He's not coming, but we can...
Leora doesn't let him.
Oh, Leora doesn't let him.
It's better than he doesn't.
I don't know. Statues are metal, you know. Human heart open and saying, you want to come in, please come in. Maybe that goes deeper than just the statues. We don't know, because as we said, they must be quite an open group. No? Shoshana says no. Shoshana has a bad view about them. Huh?
Yes, not generally a bad view, but I think it is a problem for them to see us walking these statues.
Well, I'm not Jewish, so they can only see me, so that's okay. Anyway, he left. Okay, so it's not so easy to talk about karma, because one thing also, as we said, it's very intricate, it's very complicated. And then also, you know, when you hear about these results, like a place where there's thorns and storms and hail and all that, sounds a bit, what? So, but we can see that we are born in these places, and we can see that, so we must have like mixed karma ripening at the same time. So every moment we create new imprints, but also every moment old imprints kind of ripen, and when an imprint ripens, that one seed is finished. So then it is up to us whether, it's the same as with a garden, you know. Is the garden person still here? Yeah, they were sitting at the back, people who said they have a garden. It's the same. When you really know what you want, and you have, you know, something growing there. So I have no clue when they are small, is it good, is it not something that I want, is it a weed or is it really a good plant? I have no idea. So I could pull out just about anything to make sure that no weeds grow, but then nothing grows. So, but if I let them grow until I recognize them, then they already made more roots and they made more seeds. So then, so it's about really starting to recognize the mind and really starting to see, what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, and then, so when these negative emotions are still small, so it's kind of, that's the plan. So once you have a seed, and you put that seed into the earth, hi Tippy, you want to come in or you want to leave? I'm not supposed to say that Tippy is there. Come in. Okay, relax, you know, this is not like prison.
Warning, samsara?
Huh? Yeah, right. So we have little choice, but we do have a choice whether we just want it to grow, to let it grow. We did a negative action. We say, okay, too bad, and then it goes. That imprint is kind of deposited on the mind stream, and then with time it actually grows, or as we say, makes more seeds. It increases, and then when it ripens, when the result comes, it's something really big. Or you apply these, what is called the 4 opponent powers, straight away. Yeah? 4 opponent powers, remember? 4 opponent powers? No, you in the front with the fruit, or what is it? Fruit loops. The Fruit Loops. Do you remember them? No. Yeah, okay. So the first one is regret. So this is very important, that you're not cooking yourself an excuse for being nasty or for having made a negative action. But again, negative actions doesn't mean you let that you don't stop others when they are about to harm you. We have a law in this country. We have police, we have judges, we have courts, we have lawyers. If somebody is out to really in a nasty way trying to cheat you, then take these things that we have, because if you just let everybody do what they want to do, they're creating a lot of negative karma, so that's not skillful either. But when you do go to court, or when you sue somebody or something like that, then make sure that there is no anger, that you really you try to include the other person in your compassion by saying, okay, if then he does pay my bill, then at least he doesn't have that negative karma. And then again, that can be genuine, or that can be total hypocritical, and inside you, this guy should pay. And then if you lose your court case, then it's okay. My bill from I don't remember when, paid. Yeah. You see, if we have to pay a bill that we remember that we have to pay it, it's not pleasant, but it's okay. But what if we have to pay a bill that we don't remember that we have it? Then we get all whoa, until the person is really able to prove to us, hey, but I delivered you these goods, so this is the bill. But if we, if there wouldn't be a way to wriggle out of this for us to pay, and there's no way for the other person to prove to us that we have had something, that there is a bill that is open, we would feel terrible paying it, isn't it? Yeah. But since with the karma you don't get away with anything, then somewhere there is a bill. But in order not to create new imprints of anger and all this can help you when you think like that, because then you can let go. So paying bills is not something pleasant, but when you understand that yes, I have to pay it, you pay it. And then you feel relieved. So that's the same thing as little bit with when the negative karma is ripening. When you do purification, it is a bit like you have ordered something and it's on its way, but then you cancel it. Yeah. So with the karma, at one point somebody said, karma is like ordering something on the internet. It's very easy to order it, but it's quite difficult to cancel it. I don't know if you ever tried to cancel something that you ordered on the internet. It's almost impossible, but it is possible. But you have to go through many more clicks than just to order it. Yeah. So like that. So yeah, I think the main point about these karma teachings is that you understand that you have a choice. That you do have a choice. Okay? So now would be the time for questions, but if you didn't write anything, then you have to ask. And you need to speak really loud.
It's a bit theoretical.
It's okay.
But about apologies.
Oh, you're right. It's nothing. Very grave.
I had two incidents recently that I wanted to apologize, but I was skeptical about the motive to apologize.
You were scared.
No, I think I thought maybe if I apologize, the other person might actually realize how can I say it? Like the apology might actually hurt the other person.
Why?
Because maybe they didn't know, like one is talking about them, like bad speech.
Bad speech, okay. So
So
you
if I go
talked.
to someone and I tell, oh, I was talking bad about you, then
Uh-huh.
I'm just hurting them because they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Will you repeat please? We don't hear.
Okay, so I repeat the question so then we know, then you can say if I didn't understand right. So what about apologies? So for example, you talk behind somebody's back, yeah, and then you want to apologize to them. That you talk behind their back, but they don't know that you talk behind their back. So then they don't feel hurt. Okay? So I wouldn't say, it's the same thing. Adultery. You know, I know one woman, she was drunk and it was a very good relationship, but one night her husband was not there and she slept with another guy. And it spoiled her whole life because she didn't know whether to tell him or whether not to tell him. She had a need to tell him, but then also, how is he going to feel? He didn't know. But because she felt so bad about it, then it was the relationship went quite sour because she couldn't be happy anymore in that relationship. So please don't, don't go sleeping with other people when you're in a relationship. It makes your life, it's a short moment of pleasure and it makes your life so complicated. And if you already done it, don't come and ask me, should I say or should I not say? I don't know. I really don't know. It's very good to put yourself in other people, in the other person's shoes, like you change perspective, you go to the other side, and then to ask yourself honestly, what would I like that this person is doing? Now, I would say, but this is just personal, yeah, I would say if the person really doesn't know, and is not asking, oh, I wonder who said these things about me, because she has no clue, then why bring it up? We talk so much. And we don't remember everything that we said, and I also don't remember everything I heard. And then, it just goes. But if there is something that she got to know, and she says, I wonder who said that, then to see if you have the courage to say, I did it, and I'm really, really sorry. Then, of course, with an apology, actually this is a theme for Yom Kippur, we'll talk about this, how to apologize. But anyway, we can do more than once, it's okay. With an apology, you have to be aware that you put yourself in the hands of the other person, 100%. And some people take advantage of that. And you deserve it, because you did a negative deed. So then, if you want punishment, yeah, it will come. It will come from the other person, not from God, and not from the Buddha, not from who knows what, because you started it. And unfortunately, amongst humans, we think it seems that this is a convention, like that is written in the Constitution, that if somebody hurts me, that I can hurt them back. We think we're allowed to do that. We take that liberty to do that, isn't it? And actually, the victim, they let it happen because they say, yeah, I deserve it. So if you, as the victim, you try to protect yourself, because why? Because the other person being angry at you now, they're creating negative karma. Then they go and talk behind your back about what you did. And so it goes on and on and on and on and on. So to this again, there is no black and white answer. There is only a middle way, unfortunately. That you have to find out yourself. Because it depends very much. In what relationship are you standing to this person? Is it a friend? Is it not a friend? Is it, do they 100% trust you? How much are you attached to them? Because it could be that they say, get lost. then if we apologize, I mean, again, we can really use it, and on Yom Kippur we will do a meditation on this from both sides. You see, when somebody hurts me, we kind of expect that they come and apologize, isn't it? We expect it, that they at least they show some signs that they know that they have hurt me and that they feel bad about it. We expect that, okay? But when we hurt somebody, and then we see the other person that we have hurt, then it's good to check with us, how ready am I to show signs that I say, sorry, I made a mistake, I feel really bad about it, whatever. You know, it's kind of, we see how difficult it is to go and apologize because we're afraid of that person, because we know they have power over us, and we also know they might take that power and use it to hurt us back, because it seems to be okay to do these things. But when we see that, we make it very difficult for other people to come and apologize, because we're always already standing there with the club, you know, and they come, I'm sorry I did that, I hurt you. And then if they come when you're in a bad state, you vomit all your frustrations on them. And you go, yeah, and you did this, and it was really terrible, and all this. So that's one side. The other side, never saying anything. They might just continue and not be able that what they're doing to you is really hurting. Yeah? So what are you going to do? Are you going to say, hey, sorry, I mean, you know, the way you behave, it's really hurtful. And then you become a bit Californian, because they immediately say, oh, this really hurts my feeling. And at one point I was so upset about this really selfish person, because I was working like a slave and she was just standing next to me telling me what I should do, and then she said something and I just continued, and then she said, oh, you really hurt my feeling. And I was so upset, I said, I don't care. And I meant it. I said, like, you know, I mean, get lost with your feelings. Either you help me work or you kind of, what are you, This is very Californian, this kind of telling others how you feel when they do. So it's like, I find it a bit ridiculous, but you can. I think once you are in a good state and you feel that the other person is in a good state, then you can go and talk about this, what happened and why and all this. But the first thing that you do is work with your own mind. So, okay, she hurt my feelings, but, you know, okay, I'm also not made out of sugar, and I also hurt others, and all these kind of things. It's very, very complicated. So it's not like in Judaism where you have like these big books where it says, this happens, you do this happens, you this, you go and ask the rabbi, and then he tells you what to do. The Buddha gives you methods to work with your mind, so that your mind becomes open and calm and peaceful, and then you will know what to do. Yeah, you will know what to do. If you would be the one that has been talked about, would you want to know, even though you have no clue that this is going around? Yeah. You will destroy that person's peace of mind. The same way as when, you know, if you tell your husband that you slept only one night and it was just sex and drunk and drugs and party and all this. But even you say like this, you know, you leave poison on the mind of that husband, I think. But then the poison stays with you. So then maybe you have to make a compromise when that happens. Or you can make a compromise. You don't say anything to your friend, but you make it up without saying, and you are especially nice to her. Or you do things that you normally wouldn't do things for her. And this is your way of repaying it. But then again, try to see it as paying a bill, and don't expect her then to do the same thing to you. Yeah. So with the apology, you know, anyway, it's really a difficult and tricky thing. The best thing is, like I'm telling you now, when something happens, you go immediately. You don't wait. Because the longer you wait, the more you get tense. The more your guilt starts to, you know, fester in here and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the more also you distort the story in your head, what really happened. But for example, when you're angry and you abuse somebody and then you calm down, and if you can go right after and say, I'm really sorry, I was angry, I didn't mean it. Then there's very little that is being left. But if you don't show that you hurt, if you don't show that you know that what you did is wrong, then the hurt kind of increases in the heart of the other person. Yeah. So don't wait, and if you go, then show your pain. Show your pain. Say, look, I'm really, really sorry that I did it, because you hurt because you did it. You actually destroy your peace of mind by doing these things, isn't it? Yeah. So gossiping, it seems something totally innocent, but it's not. It's maybe slower working poison than killing, but it does poison. Yeah. So then that's why using our speeches in a certain way is. We do a lot of negative. We create a lot of negative karma with our speech. So when we're not aware of it, and the habit is very strong to do these things. So then next time you hear that there's a rumor is spreading about you, then you go, okay, now that one, other stuff is cancelled. At least that one. And then you feel, we will do a meditation on that, to feel the mind when the negative result comes. How it works, and how we feel the victim, how we feel it's not justified, and how instinctively we want to harm back, or, at least be the victim. And, victims, they have special rights, isn't it? They can do whatever they want, one thinks. I'm not talking about here, okay? I'm talking about normal people. Somebody who feels like the victim, they can become quite vicious and quite dangerous by feeling or thinking that it's okay what I'm doing because I've been hurt. Now, if the person who has hurt that person, if they understand, they let that person do it for a while. But then the big question is, how long does the aggressor understand that this one is the victim before the aggressor becomes the victim? How long? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years? I don't know. This whole thing with abuse and victim and aggressor, and people who want to get involved and want to... We're all of it. We're aggressors, we're victims, we're... none of us is innocent. Like, that saying there is so profound. People think that they're innocent because they don't do anything, but they're not. None of us is innocent. Because we all have kind of created negative imprints that the environment is the way that it is. Yeah. So if you go really high up to the Bodhisattva teachings, when somebody hurts you, you feel bad for the other person, that you are carrying that imprint in you, that the person can hurt you, and now they will have the negative imprint because of you. And that's very, very, very high thinking, but that works if you really understand the law of cause and effect, and you have compassion. Yeah. But that is only for people who are not nutniks and very weak and all this. This is for people who have identified the real enemy, which is this wrong view, believing that there's a me, a self, or an I, who is creating this world outside, who is making this split, me and them, instead of us. Yeah, this is for those people who really understand that what I'm experiencing is just a reflection of my mind. And I think it was Tsongsa Khyentse Rinpoche who said the other day, if you have a mirror, and in the mirror there is a reflection of a heap of dog shit, and a chocolate cake, would you get excited about the chocolate cake and get kind of about the dog caca in a reflection? You would not, but we do. we do in daily life, because we don't see that it's just a reflection. We think that dog shit is really bad and chocolate cake is really good, because that's how it appears and this is how it feels. If you would be a fly, you would be more interested in the dog shit than in the chocolate cake. No? So it cannot be that this is good and this is bad. It depends a bit who you are. So we get very fascinated about the chocolate cake, and we get averse to the what's it called, to the dog caca. But it's just a reflection. It's what our mind is reflecting. That's what we have to understand. But in order to be able to understand that, you need to have a mind that is calm and stable. In order to have a mind that is calm and stable, you need to have a life that is pretty much calm and stable. If you really want to work on shamatha and have a mind that is calm and stable, you need to have a life that is boring. Yeah, where nothing happens, no problems to sort out, and having a lot of time. You know, then you're not schlepping all your problems into the meditation, where because now it's quiet time and then you're trying to sort them out. And instead of being with the object, you're trying to sort out problems. Isn't that what you're doing in your meditation? Most of the time. Because now I have time, I can think about this. Yeah. Whereas if they went, this is why you go into long retreats. When nothing is happening, yeah, then of course the mind gets bored, but it's out of this boredom it will become stable. So if you cannot bear boredom, you will never have a calm and quiet mind. If your mind constantly needs to be fed something new, then it will be difficult, impossible. Yeah, because the mind is attached to activity and to do things, to pleasant experiences, or sometimes even unpleasant experiences, as long as something is happening. We are afraid of that space, that unlimited space, because there was a question about was it from you, Yaakov, about death? You know, I'm afraid of the nothingness after death.
No, about the karmic imprints.
Yeah, that was one. But then you also said that you use rebirth as a consolation.
Oh no,
that wasn't you. So it was somebody else. So that one is afraid of that space. We are afraid of losing ourselves, and we forget that we have short moments when we lose ourselves, and those are the best moments that we can have. This is when we feel the best, when we lose ourselves. When you paint, when you play music, when you dance, when you are totally with somebody who is suffering or sick, like one of your children, you totally forget about yourself. And this is when we feel the best. Or like when you are with your autistic children also, and you're not important anymore, but you're really wanting to connect with them, you have to put you cannot make that split I and them anymore, especially with sensitive children like this. You have to totally forget about who and what you are and what you want and all this. Then, for me it happens, Itzik maybe also during skiing. Yeah, you also. It's climbing, skiing, because you cannot think about your problems. Otherwise, you have to be totally aware, because your life depends on it. Well, my life not, because we went climbing with ropes. I never climbed without ropes, because that was not fashion yet that time. Whereas now, so many people go climbing without ropes. And with these little stinky shoes, we had these heavy kind of mountain boots and this and that. But anyway, so there also, because you're not alone also on that rope. And I cannot just decide, I want to go this way. You need to go with the others. You become a group. And you cannot say, no, I'm not doing this. You know it will be dangerous for you and for everybody else. So you just go with the flow. And you're 100% present. And you start to, what always fascinated me, how I can, on very little space, I can stand and pull myself up, and all this I found so fascinating. And also the balance that you need, Because when your body goes into total balance, I think dancers must have the same thing, then also your mind goes into balance. Yeah? But unfortunately it's not enlightenment, it's just very plain.